It is a disease. But unfortunately, most of the people fail to acknowledge that and believe that it can never be cured. It is a silent killer. But unfortunately, most of its victims are either ignorant or are too scared to even ask for help. And yes, it can be prevented. But unfortunately, most of the people don't even know what to do. And most importantly, it can happen to anyone. But most of the people just don't see it coming. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, I'm talking about the most dangerous silent killer, depression. For me, it's not just another topic. It's not just another disease. It is a cause very close to my heart. I was just 5 years old and probably too young to either understand the meaning or the impact of this disease when I first heard about it. I can never forget the horrifying sight of my father tied in chains by his ignorant and greedy family, terming his violent and volatile behavior as plain madness. He was still fortunate to have an understanding and supporting wife who got him treated and eventually cured. But he was not fortunate enough to survive the pain and trauma of being betrayed by his own family. Depression is an unfortunate disease, most misunderstood and often misused to torture its victims rather than curing them. Do you know that at any given point of time, 5 to 10% of an entire population is suffering from depression? The lifetime risk of developing depression is 10 to 20% in females and slightly less in males. And the people under the age of 45 years are more likely to develop depression. And according to the latest statistics, depression is all set to become the second highest life-claiming disease by the end of year 2020. Alarming statistics. And what is the response? Every other day, you hear about a daughter or a son, a brother or a sister being released from confinement by an NGO or social activist, locked in a room for years of solitude. What is their fault? Their families think they are mad. But the fact is that their stress, their depression was not given the right kind of medical attention at the right time. Every other day, you hear about a jilted lover or a depressed student committing suicide. The fact is that no normal human being can take his own life under normal circumstances. It can only happen under the influence of suicidal tendencies, which are a result of extreme depression. So what really causes depression? It could be a bad breakup, losing a job, death of a loved one, and not just traumatic events. It can even be triggered by stress, improper diet, or a medical situation. And what are the symptoms? Feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, sadness. People suffering from depression are weighed down by the feeling of worthlessness and guilt. They have unexplained aches. They feel tired all the time, but eventually when they try to sleep, they don't get sleep. They get frequent thought of suicide and death. And beware, it not only happens to adults, it can affect kids too. If your child is faking illness or avoiding school, it's high time you start taking it seriously. But the bigger question is, can it be prevented? And the answer is yes. The ABCDE of preventing depression. A. Attitude. Positive thinking should not just be a one-time affair. It should become a way of life. Because too much of negativity can actually push you towards darkness. And just like one rotten fruit is sufficient to spoil the entire basket, just one constantly cribbing person in a group or a family is a big danger. So next time you feel like cribbing about your boring job or your cruel boss in front of your kids, think twice. Be busy. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. Make sure that not just you, but each and every member of your family, be it your kids, be it your homemaker wife, or be it your retired parents for that matter, everyone should get a fair chance to explore their interests and make sure that they are busy. C. Communication. Have you ever felt bad that you never had that kind of rapport with your father where you could sit with him and have a heart-to-heart talk? Make sure that you're not repeating the same mistake as a parent. Your child and every member of the family should have equal right to come forward and express their feelings, their problems with each member of the family at any given point of time. D. Proper diet, healthy diet. And E. Exercise and enough sleep. This is a big bad world where everybody is busy with their own lives. And the feeling of loneliness and the fear of being left alone are the worst feelings to have. In the words of a very famous doctor, depression is like rust. It quietly settles on its victim. And aired by the fuel called solitude, if not treated at right time, it can corrode his entire life. Make sure that you take every possible measure to ensure that you and your family is safe from the deadly disease called depression, because prevention is certainly better than cure.